you start to see patterns. You start to develop instincts. You have informed speculation that you trot out from time to time. And it was one of the reasons why last year, as Odell Beckham Jr. was kind of lingering on the market, we're like, Rams. They can get him without even effing a single pick at this point. Why would the Rams not try to get him? And they did. And we were talking yesterday about the aftermath of the Odell Beckham Jr. visit to the Giants, Bills, and Cowboys. The Cowboys, and I'm surprised this is even a debate. And I know there's some people who like cover the Cowboys, and you got to be careful, you got to tread lightly. But come on, the Cowboys screwed Odell Beckham Jr. putting that stuff out there about how he's not going to be ready to play at all this year. That screws him. All in the name of either getting him to take less or to get your players to accept why they didn't sign him. So if you're pissed off about that, there's a place you can go in the same division, and you can play with a contender, and you can do a one-year deal, and you'll be playing in January and maybe playing in February. And you're out there on the field, and they're watching A.J. Brown, and they're watching Devontae Smith, and you're wide open, and Nick Sirianni is scheming you open, and the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, is good enough to get you the ball, and off you go, and then you get your contract the next year. It made a ton of sense. And that's why it just kind of hit me yesterday as we were talking about it. I said, watch the Eagles. I guess I should have said watch the Eagles and the Chiefs, but the Eagles had not been really injected into that conversation
we haven't heard
before.
that.
Right. I wrote yesterday he should be looking at, and they should be looking at him, the Eagles and the Chiefs, because you could get him cheap, you could get him motivated, and you could get him with the mindset of, I'm going to prove myself now and get paid later, instead of, I'm going to leverage this idea that I'm going to help you now to get paid later. That's just not working, and it's not going to work. He needs to go back to 1-year contract mindset. So anyway, we say that, and all the reporters in Philadelphia interpret it as if we reported the Eagles are going to make it. Come on. We didn't say that. All we said is watch the Eagles. We didn't say sources close to the situation, the Eagles. No. So they enter the day yesterday going into the locker room, going to the press conferences, acting as if we reported it when we didn't. Against all of that, here's Nick Sirianni, the Eagles coach, when asked yesterday about our report, which wasn't a report, linking the Eagles to OBJ.
Yeah, really happy with the room that we have. One of the best wideout rooms. The best wideout room I've ever been a part of in the NFL. And we've had some, we've had some good ones, and this is the best one we've had. And so I love what. Obviously, AJ, everybody knows what AJ and Devontae are doing, right? And so, and then you have Quez, who's continuing to come on and continuing to make plays and continuing to be that big, speed receiver that we need. And then you have Zach Pascal, who is very critical to a team, the type of play he brings. And your fourth has to be a special teams contributor, which Zach is, and he's got to be willing to do the dirty work and be able to back up every single position, which he does, and do some have a specialty role which he does too. Have that, and then your fifth guy better play special teams, and our fifth guy is our returner, who had a really had his best game as a professional last week, and so I'm really excited about that room, and I'll let you leave it at that.
So you're not signing.
You know what we didn't hear in any of that response, Chris?
No, we don't want them?
We didn't hear a no.
Yeah.
We didn't hear a no.
Right.
I didn't hear any doors slamming. And, the reality is that great receiver room is one game away from having one or more of those guys injured. So, they didn't slam the door. And why would they? And look, one of the reasons I said watch the Eagles, how many times have they stunned us over the years? A.J. Brown, who saw that coming? Right?
Right.
I mean, if I would have said,
trading of picks, everything, it's been amazing.
If I would have known or just would have guessed, hey, watch the Eagles for A.J. Brown the day before the draft, people were like, oh, you're really stirring some shit there. And then a day later it happened. So that's why I remember all the way back to Nnamdi Asomugha. Remember when he was a free agent in 2011?
Yeah.
And there were like 4 or 5 teams linked to him, and then all of a sudden he signs with the Eagles. How he was there then. That's how he does things. He has a way of keeping it under radar, keeping it quiet, and swooping in. It's not fly, Eagles, fly. It's swoop, Eagles, swoop. They'll come in and get a guy they want, and no one even knew they wanted him. That's why I said watch the Eagles. So, listen, reporters, do me a favor. Before you take the dumb stuff we say and turn it into a report that it wasn't. I mean, listen to what we said. Don't create some big mess in the locker room. Apparently, it freaked some guys out. They get asked questions about OBJ yesterday as if it was real, like they're getting ready to sign him.
Right.
And that's irresponsible by the media that covers the Philadelphia Eagles. And then I get blowback from it.
Yeah.
I get blowback last night from the Eagles for it.
Well,
like, hey, I can't control what these assholes do with what I say.
Yeah, like do your job. Pay attention to specifics and the details. Don't just look at one sentence and go with it. The same thing happened to me, right? When you asked me the question about if one guy were to retire this year, Brady or Rodgers, who would it be?
Yes.
Right?
Between very specific, focused. Hey, Chris, if we were putting odds, I didn't even say which one would do it. Just what would the odds be right now? Brady and Rodgers retiring at the end of the year or during the year. It was which of the two would
just
be
walk
more likely
away.
to walk away during the year if one of them would.
Right.
It was a very specific example. It got blown up into you saying Tom Brady may retire during the season.
It's insane. And I just want to go, I mean, really? You're just going to look at one sentence there and not really look at the conversation? And then,
they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. That's the thing. They know exactly what they're doing. It's not incompetence. It's clickbait.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're doing.
I would agree with that as well. And, Mike, I think you said it right. The big thing here is your team is the best team in football. You're, as it looks right now, on track to go to the Super Bowl. Clearly the best team in the NFC. Clearly the best team in the NFL right now. The thing you brought up about the receivers, to me, it's more about with Odell, you're not desperate to need him. Right? And if you do get them, hey, and you got all three of those guys, hey, it's amazing. But the biggest thing, too, is just the insurance policy, as we discussed yesterday. It's the insurance policy to keep the formula of how you're winning alive. And see, that's where the New England Patriots were always amazing, throughout the years. It was moves like that. Oh, they got 1 million linebackers. Well, why? Because they play them in all these different defenses, so if they don't have that, then they can't do it. Oh, they got to keep Talib. They got Darrelle Revis. Oh, they got Stephon Gilmore. Why? Because they believe in like having that shutdown corner, and it allows them to do all this crazy stuff over on the other side. So that was a part of how they play, and it was the insurance policy that way, where this is the same type of thing. And you don't need them to perform. But let's just say an injury happened to one of those two receivers in the divisional playoff game. Wow, 7 weeks from now, Odell Beckham Jr. Oh, okay, now, hey. Oh, okay, now you have Odell Beckham Jr., and you're playing in the NFC Championship game. If you don't have Odell and Devontae got hurt, you're going to see double on A.J. Brown the whole game, and it's going to be hard to get him the ball. Okay? You got Odell. Now that brings it back to, okay, you can double him, but as we've seen, when Odell's healthy, he can run by anybody. And that's where, to me, you protect yourself, and it's where it makes sense, and it was a brilliant idea by you. And I wouldn't be shocked if they started to kick around the idea of this, if Odell will get off of what you talked about.
Not now. Not after yesterday. Maybe that's why they're upset. I blew up their ability to swoop in. Yeah. Accidentally and inadvertently and just pulling it out of my butt. But again, it's informed by the fact that we follow this all the time. I mean, I hear, oh, you never played the game. You never coached. You don't know anything. When you're plugged into the Matrix for 21 years nonstop, you kind of pick up a few things along the way during those 21 years of being plugged into the overall Matrix and understanding the patterns and the trends and the personalities and everything else that goes into the game. So that was just one of those that was a byproduct of that. We've seen it. We've been there. We've done that. I remember a lot of stuff. I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday, but I can remember that the Eagles got involved in Nnamdi Asomugha and shocked everyone and grabbed him. And that's just one of the things that informs why I said, watch the Eagles. And I'm still going to watch the Eagles and the Chiefs because once he accepts,
Chiefs
Chris,
is the same question.
That he ain't getting $20 million a year.
Right.
Yeah. Once he accepts that he's not getting the contract he wants, and he has to either wait until next year and become a free agent after the season or take whatever he can get now, that's when you go to the Chiefs or the Eagles. Maybe the Bills.
Yeah.
But now that Von Miller's out for the year, that the Bills, Chiefs and the Eagles are the two teams I'd go to if I decide I'm going one-year deal and try to replicate what I did last year just without the torn ACL in the first half of the Super Bowl.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I think, with the Eagles and the Chiefs, it's kind of the same reasoning. The Chiefs, it makes sense too. They're a team that's built, and they're built through the receiver and that magic man wearing 15. So, an injury or two, and all of a sudden you go, damn, they're not the same team. He can't make magic all by himself. And I do wonder with the Bills and Von Miller getting hurt if it maybe increases their chances of maybe flirting with the Odell thing now. To just go, well, damn, we can't expect him maybe to make the game-closing sacks here. We might just have to outscore somebody. I don't know.
I think they're out. You know what? I think they're out now. You know why they're out?
Yeah.
Because they gave $45 million guaranteed to a guy who just tore his ACL. So what are they going to give to a guy who's coming off of a torn ACL? What are they going to do? Because, again, this gets back to I don't want to start putting people on the hot seat. Again, these are the patterns. But one of the realities, and we mentioned this yesterday, knocking on the door and not kicking it in, right? Brandon Beane's got this Von Miller contract on his resume now with ownership. That's on him. Hey, we didn't know he was going to tear an ACL. He did. So I think the last thing Brandon Beane's going to do is go to Terry and Kim Pagula and say, I'd like you to authorize me to give $20 million guarantee to Odell Beckham Jr.
Well, yeah, that's not going to happen.
Even though he's coming off a torn ACL. Right, but I'm saying to step up and get him under the current formula. Bills, Giants, Cowboys are the teams that are pursuing him under the current formula. If you change it, and I guess if he would go one-year deal, maybe the Bills would pay a little bit more.
That's what I was saying.
The other two,
right, you're right,
for the remainder of the year. But even then,
they've been scarred.
I'm Brandon Beane. I'm treading very lightly now that Von Miller's got the torn ACL.
Yeah, I hear you there. It could have scared them. It definitely could have. But I think how you buttoned it up in the end there. If it gets to, hey, Odell finally realizes, I'm not getting a long-term deal. I'm not getting some big contract that goes into future years here. Maybe they jump back in it. I wish they would. As I've said many times, I think they need it. I do. They're still a team that's based around the other Magic Man wearing 17. That's again an insurance policy, and I honestly think they need that extra weapon.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.